That's right. Urban nerds, not urban shooters, man. Y'all see that? Get y'all shirts, man. Urban nerds, not urban shooters. All right, peace, man. I want to talk to the family today, man, about a conversation I had with my father the other day. We had a pro-black conversation, and my dad was telling me that he was like, son, I understand, you want to teach Thomas, my son, to be pro-black, and you want him to be aware of his history and all these different things. But my father said, he explained to me, he said, son, each generation had their time. Each generation did their thing. He said the stuff that my grandfather and them did during their era things were a little different than the way that my father and them did it, and then our era. But one thing that my father said was that we was trained over time to be reactionary to so-called racism and white supremacy. Whenever white people have done to us over the years, everything that we've done has been reactionary. We went to college because we couldn't get into the schools. We wasn't given the opportunities by white people. We said, I'm black and I'm proud because white people called us niggas and said we were savages. At what point are we going to do things for ourselves and think for ourselves, manifest and create for ourselves? So me and my father, we having this conversation, and I'm asking my dad, I'm saying to my dad, well, like, what are you trying to say? What's the message? What's the message and what you're trying to tell me? So he was basically saying that we've been conditioned and trained over time in history to be afraid of this white man. No matter how much we say, the white man is the devil, we got to do this, we got to do that. Each generation feared the white man and his punishment. We feared this punishment. My dad was trying to tell me was, I don't have to teach my son about all the hardships about what the white man has done. What I need to do is teach my son to compete and to be great. It's kind of like if I don't know all the dangerous things that this enemy could do, I know what I can do. I know what I'm going to bring to the table. I have a better chance than me being fed a studied download of the white man's treachery, his prisons, his system, and all the way it's set up. Because every time he does something, I'm going to be reactionary. We need to create a generation of kids that when the white man throws his hook, we block it, we move around and we get on our offense. We always on defense. We're not creating and manifesting nothing because we're too reactionary and we're too busy watching him. I'll give you an example. When they gave that Derek Chauvin case verdict, white rage went out and they shot, hold on a second, I'm in the hood. They shot 5 people and black people went crazy. We went reactionary. It got to almost get to the point, I'm going to say this, and it's controversial, but it got to almost get to the point that when they do something to us, we don't even respond. We don't say nothing. We don't do anything because the evil needs your participation for it to exist. If they keep doing certain things because they know how we're going to react, they know how we're going to respond. We got to start dictating how we respond for ourselves, not being so reactionary to white folks. So the thing is, when my father was trying to tell me, the reason why we can't advance and move forward because we're too reactionary. We're too busy watching them. We're too busy waiting for them to do something. We're too busy waiting for them to give us something. We're not busy building and manifesting saying that we're going to compete and I can do things better. I can get in the ring and beat a 1988 Mike Tyson because I never saw Mike Tyson's punch out. I don't know that I should be afraid of that uppercut. I'm too busy training and doing what I do. I'm getting in the ring to do what I do. But if you give me a study diet from the time I'm born to watch out for his uppercut and to be fearful of his uppercut, I'm gonna always be reactionary. So my father was saying, teach my son history. But I don't have to put the beret on, be all super angry, the Superman superhero, super dog pro black dude. To the point where my son can't advance nothing because he's too reactionary about what white supremacy is going to do. Teach him to compete against white supremacy. Tell your sons every day that he's great. He's super. He's Superman, not this white Superman. He's God having a human experience. He's the true manifestation of God. Tell your son that he's the true and living. That's what I tell my son. He's the true and living. He's the true manifestation of God. He's the original Superman, not some white man in a cartoon. Tell him he can do all things. Manifest this reality. Get Freddy Krueger out of his mind. This is the conversations that we got to start having with our boys and our girls, man. To the point where if a white man call you a nigga, it don't even matter. You get him like, so what? You call me a nigga, I'm not my father. That don't mean nothing to me. My father taught me to compete against you, not be reactionary to you. That don't work no more. See, this is the thought process that we gotta have. But if we keep feeding our kids the study diet of white supremacy, white supremacy, white supremacy, white supremacy, when do we get to black development? When do we get to black development if all we focus on is white supremacy? That's how they keep winning. That's why you got boys out here killing each other, because they don't see the relevance in themselves. So why would they see a relevance in another black man? See what I'm saying? This is why you got so many coons and buffoons running around. We don't understand. We don't understand our history, who we are, and what we should be doing going forward, and what we should be teaching the babies. Some of the things in our past and our history should be in the museum. It should be a part of the past. We should be teaching our children different things, so that way when they do go to the museum, they can say, well, damn, this what happened to Grandpa and them? Oh, shit. But if we keep giving them a study diet from the time they come out of the womb, they're never going to manifest nothing but pain, hardship. I'm not saying don't teach them their history, but we got to start teaching our kids to compete. Everything that we knew, even in the 80s, when we was wearing the medallions, and it's a black thing you wouldn't understand, and all of those things that we had in the 80s, right? No matter how much we marched, we still was afraid of this white man and his punishment. Like this ice cream man go by. We still was afraid of the white man and his punishment. He will come down this block. We would wipe each other out. We would do all kinds of stuff. That's why to this day, police officers can come through the hood and shoot black men in the back, and nobody does nothing. Nobody retaliates, nobody does nothing, because we're conditioned to be afraid of white people. We're not afraid of each other, we're afraid of white people. Because from the time we leave the womb, it's kind of like Mike Tyson. You're conditioned to be afraid of Mike Tyson because you're too busy watching him. Fighters was watching Mike Tyson. They were seeing all the things he could do. Then one day a Buster Douglas got in there and said, man, fuck that. I ain't worrying about your punches no more. I'm going to move. I'm going to stick and move. I'm going to get out the way. I'm going to throw my uppercuts and my hooks. I'm going to slay the giant. He wasn't paying attention to all that bullshit they was talking about Mike Tyson and what Mike Tyson was doing. We got to raise a whole generation of black kids like that. Not a whole generation of black kids that's been watching CNN, that's been reading all these history books and talking about what the white man has done to us. They're giving them a study diet of Jesus, white Santa Claus, white superheroes, white everything. You already training your kid to be inferior in his mind. He'll never compete. He'll never manifest another reality outside the one we living in. We want, at the rate we going now, we're going to have a whole generation of kids. Our kids are going to be marching just like we march, just like our fathers march, just like our grandfathers march, because that's what we teaching them. We don't have to keep teaching them all the vicious things of history. Let them see it when they get to the museum. Let's teach them to be great. Let's teach them to compete. Urban nerds, not urban shooters, man. We walk around with so much pain, and we pass that on to our children because our parents pass that pain on to us. It's time that we come out. It's time that we come out of a dysfunctional story. Black people, we love a dysfunctional story, but in those dysfunctional stories, we're poisoning the minds of our children, and they're afraid to compete. They're afraid to advance because we're teaching them fear. And all the system does is continue to put fear in you, because I keep telling y'all, black dysfunction is profitable for everybody but black people. So black men and black little boys and girls is never going to advance if you keep teaching them all the hardships of things that happened to us in the past. Some things we got to let go. Put that shit in the museum. Let it go. Don't even talk to your kids about a lot of that shit. As time go on, we can start teaching it to them. But let's start teaching our kids, man, about science, the technologies, the math, all those different things. Let's start raising our kids in the system of understanding what it is to be pro-black, what pro-black is. A black man and black woman together with children developing communities. Let's talk about, we ain't got to keep going back to slavery. Let's teach them to compete. Let's take that tyranny out of their minds. what our grandparents went through, that nobody's coming in your house no more, dragging you out the house and hanging you from a tree no more. So we don't gotta keep teaching them that. Let's teach them to develop themselves. As long as we keep teaching them horror stories, then that's what they're gonna keep manifesting, man. I can't say it no clearer. I'm not saying don't teach your children the history, but stop downloading the pain of our past into the minds.